you are aware that Pawn Stars is more than simply a show about buying and selling if you have ever watched it. It's an inside look at America's best-kept secrets. Since 1989, the gold and silver pawn shop in Las Vegas has been the hub of intriguing transactions, from the gleam of antique coins to artifacts that evoke memories of past times. Note that this is not your typical pawn shop. Every handshake and negotiating session reveals layers of history as Rick Harrison and his diverse crew bring life to objects that many would otherwise overlook. One of the most fascinating parts of the show is the incredible, record-breaking deals, which we're going to examine in more detail today. The priciest items ever purchased on Pawn Stars. What could be so precious that it silences even the most experienced pawnbrokers for a moment? As we reveal the backstories of these incredible purchases and discover what makes them the crown jewels of the Pawn Stars narrative, stay tuned. Everyday people used to exchange their trinkets for a little extra cash at a small pawn shop hidden away in the center of Las Vegas. Imagine the same store suddenly becoming a worldwide sensation, a TV phenomenon that leaves people in awe of incredible bargains and rubbing their eyes over scandals that make headlines. This is not your typical store. It's the gold and silver pawn shop, where TV magic combined with a family's hustle. Rick Harrison and his team transformed routine negotiations into intense drama over the years, fusing history with a splash of humor and a dash of surprise. Every item that entered their store had a backstory, and every transaction was a chance to win or lose a fortune. Richard "Old Man" Harrison and his son Rick Harrison were the two individuals whose early years laid the groundwork for the gold and silver pawn shop's rise to fame. Richard Harrison was taught the importance of hard work at a young age while growing up in the small Virginian town of Danville. Following his Navy service, he dabbled in a variety of business ventures before moving to Las Vegas in the 1980s. In contrast, Rick Harrison grew up witnessing his father struggle to make ends meet. From selling phony identification documents in high school to eventually creating his own idea of what a pawn store could be, Rick was always an entrepreneur. His adolescence laid the groundwork for his future as a shrewd businessman with a knack for historical treasures and unique antiques. Prior to becoming a worldwide television phenomenon, the gold and silver pawn shop was merely a family-run enterprise where young people learned the skill of haggling. Growing up at a modest pawn store in Las Vegas, Rick Harrison was surrounded by the sound of coins clinking and customers chatting. He learned early on how to find a hidden gem among commonplace objects from his father, who everyone knows as Old Man. Before he could even tie his own shoes, little Rick understood how to bargain. It wasn't a lottery-style win that gave them the idea to open the gold and silver pawn shop in 1989. To earn a life in the city of limitless possibilities required years of hardship and perseverance. They had no idea that the store would eventually become well known. The Harrisons started converting routine transactions into spectacular ones from their modest store in Las Vegas. They turned rare antiques into high-stakes transactions that would appeal to collectors, history lovers, and reality TV viewers. But it all began with a father's work ethic and a son's ambition, long before all the celebrity, controversies, and record-breaking purchases. Shortly later, Corey, Rick's son, came in. Even at 9 years old, Corey was already polishing jewels and learning everything he could from the store. He was a part of a legacy, not just a young man working behind the counter. He was accompanied by Chumley, his best friend, whose innate charm and oddball sense of humor would ultimately come to define the program. A few people were intrigued by the gold and silver pawn shop before Pawn Stars broke onto television screens all over the world. The store was highlighted in a PBS documentary back in 2001, which revealed a previously undiscovered aspect of Las Vegas. The authentic ambience of a location where history was concealed in commonplace items, and each one held a tale just waiting to be told, was portrayed in the documentary. The clink of coins and the animated conversation of both customers and employees underlined the rhythm of everyday life in this quiet glimpse inside a business rooted in tradition. When the store made an appearance on Comedy Central's Insomniac with Dave Attell in 2003, a few years later, it created still another stir. His visit to the pawn store highlighted yet another aspect of the allure of Dave Attell's show, which was renowned for its unconventional humor and edge outlook on life. Viewers were introduced to a realm that was full of oddball, occasionally plain strange ideas, and wasn't simply about buying and selling. This appearance provided insight into the day-to-day operations of a pawn shop, where every transaction was a mini-adventure and every trinket was examined by professionals. A deeper, more dramatic plot that may transform routine transactions into fascinating and humorous moments was alluded to in the show. Rick Harrison was subtly fostering a much larger dream, even though these early appearances were thrilling in and of themselves. He had learned all of his father's lessons growing up at the business, including the fact that every object had a deep, undiscovered story behind it. Rick, thought that by filming these routine exchanges and intense arguments, they could change not just the story but also how people perceived business and history. He spent years pitching his idea of a reality show that combined history and the art of the deal to different networks. Rick was unfazed by executive skepticism that anyone would be interested in seeing a show about a pawn store. He believed that people's hearts and brains could be won over by the shop's authentic charm and intriguing characters. Rick's dedication finally paid off in 2009. The History Channel saw the unrealized potential of the pawnshop narrative and decided to broaden its programming beyond conventional historical documentaries. After they took over the show, Pawn Stars was created. The small gold and silver pawn store became an international sensation overnight. What began as a string of short TV appearances developed into a full-fledged reality program that transformed routine transactions into epic stories of danger, gain, and untold history. Pawn Stars, which debuted on July 19, 2009, became an immediate hit and eventually became the highest-rated series on the History Channel. A modest pawn store on the outskirts of Las Vegas became the buzz of town almost overnight, and word of it quickly spread. The show's flawless fusion of personality, hustle, and history was what set it apart. Fundamentally, the store was a location where each item had a backstory and each transaction was a little adventure. With his keen negotiating abilities, Rick Harrison spearheaded the effort, while the elderly guy contributed a dose of sage advice that could only be gained from years of experience. Chumley brought that surprising, light-hearted appeal that made viewers laugh and cringe in equal measure, while Corey, who grew up in the store, blended young enthusiasm with a developing flair for the profession. The reality of Pawn Stars was just as magical as its drama. In-depth expert evaluations, unexpected historical disclosures, and authentic behind-the-scenes negotiations were all shown to viewers. A small family company was transformed into a popular tourist destination by the show. In addition to wanting to watch their favorite celebrities perform, fans started to swarm the gold and silver pawn shop to have a look at rare objects with intriguing backstories. To put it briefly, Pawn Stars gained notoriety for its straightforward, practical examination of the art of the bargain. It turned routine business dealings into epic stories of danger, gain, and exploration, demonstrating that history can shine through even the most obscure locations. However, things weren't always this easy. The gold and silver pawnshop had its share of turmoil back in 2009, long before the show became well known. The episode with the stolen diamond earrings is one instance that is still brought up. Rick Harrison thought he had struck gold with a high-end deal when he purchased a stunning pair of diamond earrings in one of the first episodes. It appeared to be a victory, a glitzy item with a high potential value. But before long, it was revealed that the earrings had been stolen. It was a difficult pill to accept that discovery. In addition to making Rick and his group look foolish in front of the cameras, it brought attention to a significant risk in the pawn industry, the peril of handling pricey objects without thoroughly researching their background. The crew was rocked by this controversy, which served as an early reminder of how crucial accurate verification is. It demonstrated to everyone that even the most alluring offers could conceal a hidden agenda and that a small error could have disastrous consequences. That episode, in many respects, established the tone for the remainder of the series. There was more to it than just buying and selling. It served as a practical lesson in prudence, trust, and the unpredictability of treasure hunting. And it's just this combination of glitz, danger, and sincere errors that has captured audiences' attention ever since. Here's something, though, that may raise even more questions. The Harrison family was quietly struggling with its own internal turmoil as we were occupied admiring the incredible bargains at the counter. What shocks and secrets are behind those well-known smiles? We'll return to this in a moment. The type of goods arriving at the door changed as Pawn Stars' popularity soared. Started to drastically change. How did a location that was previously infamous for its sporadic mistakes manage to develop into a worldwide brand renowned for its incredible bargains? The majority of sellers first brought in commonplace goods as well as sporadic oddities. However, as the show gained popularity and millions of viewers, people began to understand that the gold and silver pawn store was a site where history could be discovered, and they arrived with increasingly costly and rare items. And as the show became more well-known, the shop's image changed from that of a normal pawn shop to one that appealed to both history aficionados and collectors. Vendors started bringing in rare coins, historical objects with intriguing backstories and eye-catching price tags, and truly unique products. These expensive purchases swiftly established Pawn Stars as a brand, attracting spectators who wanted to experience the excitement of a historical wager, setting the foundation for a record-breaking timeline of purchases that would define the show's history. The shift from Early scandals to these historic agreements signaled a turning point. One can't help but wonder if the Harrison family could have avoided internal strife given the show's meteoric rise to stardom. It's difficult to avoid wondering what might have been said behind closed doors as they rode the success wave. As the attention grew, did long-standing frustrations or hidden tensions surface? As the spotlight of celebrity became stronger, disagreements over trust and money did indeed start to surface. As captivating as the high-stakes talks on broadcast were the ensuing legal disputes and familial conflicts. We were left wondering how such close-knit relationships could be strained under the strain of fame and wealth as a result of these internal tensions, which transformed the Harrisons' private life into a complicated puzzle. Legal battles and family arguments that were as captivating as the high-stakes talks on film arose when disagreements over trust and money started to surface. We were left wondering how such close-knit relationships could be strained under the strain of fame and wealth as a result of these internal tensions, which transformed the Harrisons' private life into a complicated puzzle. Fame doesn't protect anyone from difficulties, especially in a family-run business like Pawn Stars, as demonstrated by the numerous scandals and conflicts that have surfaced from within this close-knit family. Let's examine 3 significant chapters that have dominated the show since 2016 in more detail. 1. When Chumley's home was searched by authorities in March 2016, the quiet of daily pawnshop life was upended. Inside his home, authorities discovered drugs and multiple firearms during an investigation linked to a larger sexual assault case. According to reports, they found a small arsenal of guns in addition to drugs like marijuana and crystal meth. A well-liked cast member's private life became a topic of debate after this revelation. The consequences were immediate. Harrison's TV career might have been terminated when he was first charged with possession of drugs and firearms. But by agreeing to a plea bargain, he was able to escape going to jail. He was placed on probation and made to attend counseling sessions in accordance with the agreement's provisions. He was able to accept responsibility for his acts and stay a member of the Pawn Stars family thanks to this arrangement. 2. Off-camera incidents are not the only source of the Harrison family's problems. When Rick Harrison's mother, Joanne Harrison, sued him in February 2022, a significant internal conflict sprang out. Joanne asserted that Rick had been dishonest about the financial transactions after her husband's death and that she was entitled to a sizable portion of the family firm. The lawsuit also claimed that she was not getting the monthly allowances that she felt were due to her. For a family that was known for its strong ties, this legal action was a harsh pill. In addition to embarrassing the team, the case showed that even in the close-knit community of Pawn Stars, long-standing problems and disagreements can persist. It depicted a family that was having difficulty juggling the obligations of a multi-million-dollar company with their personal relationships. Additionally, it served as a reminder to viewers that there may be genuine, human difficulties hidden behind every seamless discussion seen on screen. 3. One of the main players on Pawn Stars, Corey Harrison, got into trouble again in September 2023. According to reports from Las Vegas, Corey was stopped for swerving on the road, which was a blatant indication that something wasn't quite right. Corey insisted that he had only had one drink a few hours prior to the halt when the officers approached him. But even with his justification, things swiftly got out of hand. Because the breathalyzer test was allegedly not working properly, the police conducted a blood test, which verified that he had been intoxicated. Both the cast and the fans were shocked by the incident, even though Corey was briefly arrested before being released. It served as a sobering reminder that even people who appear calm on television may be dealing with significant personal issues. Off-screen, the DUI incident brought attention to the stresses of living in the spotlight and added another chapter to the Pawn Stars' history of public gaffes. This incident highlights a straightforward reality: even the most successful people can experience setbacks along the way. But this is when the interesting part begins. Now, something unexpected started to take shape despite all those early defeats. The team improved their strategy and began drawing in not only regular business but also unique, high-stakes prizes that attracted attention as they learned from every mistake. The pawnshop story took a dramatic turn when their abilities grew and word got out. Slowly, routine business dealings gave way to astounding, record-breaking acquisitions that left everyone wondering how they managed to pull that off. Let's now examine how Pawn Stars started breaking records with its expensive buys, signaling a significant change from routine business dealings to acquisitions that were truly unprecedented. Just as the show was beginning to gain popularity, the crew shocked everyone with offers that went beyond what one might anticipate from a small pawn shop. For instance, The crew paid an astounding $70,000 for a rare Panama Pacific octagonal gold piece from 1915 in one of the first season's most memorable episodes. Not only was this purchase significant, but it also exceeded all prior expectations, leaving spectators to wonder what kinds of riches might be hidden behind the store's counter. It established a new benchmark, demonstrating that the store offered more than simply regular deals. It was a means of obtaining a piece of history. The stakes increased along with the show's success. As Pawn Stars entered their heyday, the bargains were more bolder and more spectacular. By this time, the store's reputation had attracted vendors who offered genuinely unique products. The purchase of a 1932 Lincoln Roadster, a unique vintage vehicle that made headlines globally in addition to locally, was one significant mid-career achievement. In yet another momentous occasion, the group successfully negotiated the sale of JFK's cigar box, a relic associated with presidential legend that sold for an astounding $125,000. These purchases demonstrated that the gold and silver pawnshop was functioning on a whole new level, where history and high stakes collided, in addition to reinforcing the show's increasing mystery. The stakes have risen to unprecedented levels in the latest Pawn Stars chapters, and the transactions have become absolutely phenomenal. One particularly noteworthy instance occurred in late 2023 when the squad successfully negotiated the acquisition of an extremely rare piece of sports memorabilia, a real, historically significant Super Bowl ring. This was no ordinary ring. Experts estimated its value to be over $100,000, and it had been worn by a vital player during a historic comeback. Rick painstakingly confirmed the ring's legitimacy by comparing it to other rare objects and spoke with well-known memorabilia specialists, making the bargaining heated and dramatic. The narrative behind this sale, which was a piece of sports history and a symbol of victory that few could ever hope to own, was just as special as its high price tag. A rare limited edition trophy from a historic championship game was obtained by the team in December 2023, marking yet another recent record-breaking acquisition. This trophy, valued at around $200,000, had been kept concealed for decades until its importance was acknowledged. The object stands out from other pawnshop findings due to its historical significance, flawless condition, and thorough provenance paperwork. The vendor first pushed for a price that looked nearly impossible to reach, making the negotiations tense. However, Rick and his group used their extensive knowledge of historical objects to negotiate a contract that not only respected the trophy's heritage but also went beyond what was previously thought to be feasible on the program. From trading commonplace items to executing high-stakes transactions that raise our eyebrows, these recent transactions demonstrate just how far Pawn Stars has come. These record-breaking purchases have raised the bar for the show and demonstrated that even a small pawnshop on the outskirts of Las Vegas can unlock great things. Demonstrating that the remarkable may be unlocked by even a small pawnshop on the outskirts of Las Vegas. The intriguing part comes after. We are left wondering what concealed artifact may surface next with every single transaction. Is it just another fragment of history that has yet to be unearthed? Pawn Stars' future is both uncertain and exciting, and this anticipation makes us believe that the next turn in this trip will be equally remarkable.